you're gonna learn how to layer your scents, starting with body care. Usually, with your body wash, your body scrubs, you either want something with a really light, almost unnoticeable scent, like a unscented body wash, a plain vanilla eucalyptus is my go-to. Eucalyptus isn't super strong, and the scent basically layers underneath just about everything. The same can be said with your body scrub. Either have just a signature like scent, like a signature scent collection, like everything is cohesive, everything goes together, or make sure that you have a couple of options, because if you're going for something super floral and you have a really sweet fruit like body scrub and body wash, underneath everything else, it's going to be off. You need to make sure your scents are cohesive. Everything needs to flow. It doesn't need to be exact. It doesn't need to match completely. It just needs to be cohesive. It needs to work together. Example, eucalyptus body wash or vanilla and nutmeg body wash. Both, however, go with my coconut milk rose body scrub. Both of them are pretty light. This one is mildly sweet and it goes with the mildly sweet body scrub. We are keeping our scents cohesive. After the shower. After the shower, you're gonna go in with your deodorant and your body lotion. Deodorant is usually very lightly scented, or the scent isn't strong enough to really make a difference. You do want something that will last though, so you don't sweat through everything. I like this Cherry Zen Old Spice deodorant. Just about everything I own is a sweet or fruit scented. So even though the scent honestly is not noticeable, it still pairs well with everything. This specifically is a drying deodorant, so when I reapply it, it dries me down, and I love that. Highly recommend if you live in a desert or you just live in somewhere where it's really hot or you sweat a lot. A drying deodorant and a good, long-lasting drying deodorant is imperative to a good scent routine. It is just completely non-negotiable. I like Old Spice, but whatever works for you as long as the scents are cohesive. I'm going to say that a lot in this video. After that, you're going to pick your body lotion. You don't want the fragrance to be too strong, but it needs to be strong enough to be a base. This is where your scent routine is truly going to start coming together. I have this Velvet Sugar Lotion. I love this. I love reapplying this, but the point is, it is a sweet. It is a slightly subtle. It's kind of just smells like cake and frosting without being overwhelming. Like, honestly, most vanilla scents are for me. I'm not a vanilla girl. I need more. So I like this. Before your body lotion, if you have any body serums, any body oils, you're going to make sure that those scents either scentless or they go with your routine. It needs to be cohesive. If you have a rose body oil, a jasmine body lotion, and then like really citrus body spray, it's not going to smell cohesive. You're going to be all over the place, and in some cases, it can just be super off. It's not necessarily that you'll smell bad, because all of these products smell good on their own, but it's just not going to pair together. It's going to just be off. It's going to be overwhelming. It's like mixing Dr. Pepper and Sprite together. They're good on their own, but you don't need to combine them. Honestly, for me, a really good rule of thumb, you are under no obligation to live by this rule, but what I do is I pair my fruit scents with my sweet scents and my floral scents with my more woodsy scents. So if it's just because I have this right here, if I want to wear my bombshell bouquet, I'll pick a really floral body lotion, and I'll layer that with a body mist that has like amberwoods or sandalwood in it. And then I'll keep my base routine, my body wash, and my body scrub pretty light. Again, either eucalyptus or almost completely unscented. I I don't wear floral or woodsy scents super often, so just about everything I own is dessert or berry scented. I was gonna say flavored. I'm not eating it. Your fragrance toppers, body spray, and then perfume. Your body spray needs to basically be is going to be the center of your body care routine, because this is what you're going to probably reapply more than you would a proper perfume. Perfumes tend to last longer, they're going to be stronger, and they're going to sit as the best base layer for your spray on fragrances. This is very sexy in blush, and it has a lychee base. Lychee is very sweet. It's not too florally, and it goes well with this Candied Berry Wonderland. This one, however, is much sweeter, but it doesn't clash with my blush. They go together. If your entire routine is very sweet, it's very berry based, it's very edible, you're not randomly going to throw in a super florally perfume. I love Bombshell Bouquet, but if it's not going to match the rest of your fragrances, if everything is super sweet, it's super fruity, you don't want to just throw florals in there. A cohesively floral routine, cohesively fruity routine, just something that all mixes together, cohesive. Vanilla or coconut, something more sandalwood, it needs to all go together. I'm sorry, this is falling. Having some, like, one note in common in everything is the best way to help start to layer your base products. Dear Lord. Is the best way to start to layer your base products is to make sure that they all just have like one note in common. If all of your products are somewhat different, but they all have an amberwoods base, it's great, or a lychee base, or a rose base, or a coconut base, like that is the base note. And then everything, like the middle notes, the top notes are all different. Having a very similar or the same base note with all of your scented products is going to be the best and honestly easiest way to keep track of what works together and what doesn't. You know, I went into this a little bit with your scented products, but the order that you apply them in is so important. Like I said at the beginning, you're gonna start with your body wash, your body scrub. You're gonna move on to lighter products first, body serums, and then your body oil. After that, you're gonna lock it in with your body lotion or moisturizer of choice. This thing keeps falling. And then you're going to apply your deodorant. You're going to then apply the heavier or more concentrated product first. So it's going to be perfume and then body spray. Dear Lord. Okay, I think I fixed it. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So you're going to apply your heavier product, your more concentrated product first, and then your lighter product. That's why it goes body oil, body lotion, perfume, and then body mist. You don't want to apply your perfume over your body mist. The body mist is lighter. It's going to layer more securely on top of the heavier, more concentrated perfume. The order can be so important because having certain notes on the top, in the middle, and at the base can make or break your entire scent routine. I'm using the word routine here because I don't have another word for it. But you know what I'm saying is it can make or break your entire thing. I swear I had more notes for this. Where you apply matters. I know that the first instinct, my first instinct anyways, is to just all over everything when it comes to spraying my body mists or my perfumes. But you shouldn't necessarily be doing that, at least not with perfumes. I feel like body mist is fair game. Spray it wherever you want, but with your perfumes, because it's so concentrated, you want to be a little bit strategic with where you place it. For me, it's going to be my wrists, my elbows, my neck, specifically about like where my shoulder meets the back of my neck, and my ankles. I know. That's where I'm going to apply the strongest concentration, specifically in the warmest areas. I think they're called pulse points. That is where you want to apply your heavier concentration. Lighter concentration, I feel it doesn't necessarily matter as much. I will kind of just spray this all over me, all over my skirt, my outfit. Don't put it in your hair. I know they make perfumes specifically for that, but I wouldn't recommend just all over your hair like a hairspray. Let's not. How they healed my bleach damaged hair. Healing bleach damaged hair is by no means easy. For I think like 4 years from 2018 to I think no, sorry, it was 2021 up until I think about a year ago. I was dyeing my hair like platinum blonde. I had vivids, really pastel light vivids, and my hair was completely fried. It felt like chicken wire. It could honestly stand up on its own. I didn't need hairspray for anything. My hair just stayed completely still. It was horribly damaged. It was breaking off. And honestly, I was to an extent losing my hair. It was so horribly damaged because I didn't know how to take care of it at the same time. That it was just starting to fall off, and I knew I needed to stop. And I didn't just need to stop, I needed to fix it. So we're gonna start with how I fixed it because my hair it's not 100% healthy, but it's the healthiest that it's been since I started dyeing my hair. My hair actually has some softness to it now, and it does move. It doesn't feel like chicken wire anymore. The biggest thing is having a moisture and protein based routine. I didn't know how to take care of my hair when I had started bleaching it. I was barely using conditioner, which I know is a cardinal sin, especially if you have curly or textured hair. So just the biggest thing was starting with moisture and honestly just taking care of my scalp. I wasn't washing my hair properly. I had buildup on top of buildup, and that was not only keeping my hair from growing, but it was a big reason as to why my hair was like, honestly, kind of like spaghetti when it was wet. It just stretched. It was awful. So getting started was starting with my scalp. First thing I started with was oiling my hair regularly. It was using a proper shea butter and vitamin formula, black castor oil, and vitamin E, letting that sit, marinate, massaging it into my hair and my scalp for I think about 30 minutes. Like I mentioned previously, 2 to 3 times a week. And then after that was proper washing. You can't just put shampoo on your hair, give it a little sudsy suds, and wash it out. You can't just whoosh, whoosh, whoosh in your hair. That's not gonna work. You can't do that. I started using a proper scalp scaling shampoo. Um, Obviously, this is in no way sponsored. I don't have that kind of audience, but I love this one from Aromatica. The rosemary scalp scaling shampoo has been instrumental in treating my dandruff. My scalp was inflamed and flaking, and it was driving me crazy. I don't have it with me, but I do also use a scalp scrub with this product specifically. After using the scaling shampoo on my scalp, I use a regular curly hair shampoo on the lengths of my hair. This on the lengths of my hair would honestly just be too drying. I have made that mistake, it's the only reason I know. But a proper moisture shampoo for the lengths of your hair is so important. Another important thing with healing your breakage and your bleach damage fried hair is knowing how to layer your products. You want to use protein or bond treatments. There is, oh goodness, if I can find the label. there is this protein treatment from Heritage that I have been using a lot recently. It's almost empty, like that. Almost completely gone. Or this biotin mask that I got from Cure Zero. I love a vegan hair mask because my allergies. So I love a good biotin protein hair mask that is vegan. We love to see it. After that is proper conditioning. For a while I was using the Shea Moisture products. But I can't remember the reason I stopped. I think they were too heavy for my hair if I remember correctly. So I did switch to Maui Moisture. Using a proper conditioner, not just rinsing it out right away. You want to work with it, work it through your hair, let it froth up a little bit, and leave it in. You don't just want to put it in, rub it through, and then wash it out right away. You can just with your conditioner. You can't. Work it through, let it sit for me, I like to let it sit about 10 minutes. I'll brush my teeth usually while I'm conditioning my hair. But after that, and I'll rinse it out with warm water or hot or warm water. I don't like cold water for the scalp. Not any particular reason, I just don't like it. Your care, you taking care of your hair is super important. You can't just use your regular conditioner. You need to use a leave-in conditioner with it. They work together. Using one without the other just doesn't work as well, if at all. You need both. They work together. They are best friends. They work with you. Use conditioner and leave-in conditioner. I use this hyaluronic acid one from Elvive. I'm on my second bottle. I love it. I've talked about it before. It's great. As well as applying your leave-in conditioner, making sure that you're taking care of your scalp outside of the shower and not just properly washing it is important. I use this scalp therapy serum from Dove. This is my third bottle. As you can see, I like it a lot. It is great for cooling down your scalp and just honestly, I don't know if it's just a placebo effect, but honestly, I do feel like it soothes my scalp after washing, conditioning, hair masks, all of that. And then for the lengths of my hair, I do like to go in with a bond-in oil or serum just to help with the protein treatments that I'm using to fill in the gaps that bleach created and basically fried. I am using this one from L'Oreal. It is Everpure, but another just really good oils to incorporate in your hair. For like bond-in oils would be argan oil, jojoba oil. Just a really good oil that conditions and holds in moisture. That is going to be the biggest thing with fixing fried hair. Just really bonding treatments in general can be great if you know how to use them. I have this rebonding treatment from Heritage. This is one that you apply before your hair care routine. I know that there are some that you can apply afterwards. I'm aware of the red kinesthetic bonding, the Olaplex, the Brazilian Bond Builder. Those are all really good products. This is just one that I have. This is the one that I use. It says goodness, I read these directions every day, but you just apply a good amount to the lengths and ends of your hair and leave it in for 3 to 5 minutes. I have the horrendous habit of leaving it in for 10, but I feel like that makes it work better. Maybe. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. But not just these products, but consistency. I've been at this for over a year, and I'm just now getting my hair to a decently healthy point. Another big thing with taking care of fried hair is to trim it regularly, not cut, just trim. I'll take about an inch off every couple of, like every 2 to 3 months. For me, feels like a good spot for trimming my hair, just making sure that I'm constantly keeping up with the dead ends so there isn't more breakage, so that I'm not, so that I'm preventing worst case scenario with my hair. Skincare, to the ingredients, and when to use them. we're going to start with the cosmetic industry's most recent obsession, which is niacinamide in serum or in donor form. Niacinamide is a pretty light, pretty good to work with ingredient. It tends to work well with things like retinols, hyaluronic acid. It plays nice with most skincare ingredients. When to apply niacinamide, firstly, it would be either in the morning for your sunscreen or in the evening, a little bit before you go to bed. You want it to fully absorb. You don't want to have a wet skincare face, lay on your pillow, and then turn on your side. You want the skincare in your skin, not on your bedding. Layering niacinamide, usually you want to start anything over 10%. You want to start by using 2 to 3 times a week after a proper batch test. 2 to 3 times a week, and very slowly, very carefully increase to daily use, specifically with higher concentrations. I have this one from Skin Effect. It is a brightening serum and it has 10% niacinamide. You want to be careful with higher concentrations. This toner, however, I'm pretty sure, honestly, it might not even have that high of a concentration because it says nowhere on the bottle the concentration. It is a pretty light toner, so it does work well after a gentle cleanser. Almost always use a gentle cleanser. You don't want anything too heavy with active ingredients because too many active ingredients at once is usually what causes dermatitis, skin inflammation, acne. That really rough, red, scaly texture on your skin can come from too many active ingredients, niacinamide being one of them. Specifically with a niacinamide cream, this is the Haru Wonder 5% niacinamide radiance gel cream. I will keep it really simple with a light cleanser, regular toner, some vitamin C, a little bit of this. I do about 2 fingertips worth for my face and neck, and then I will layer all of that under a just really good ceramide moisturizer. Usually with most active ingredients, you want to finish with a ceramide moisturizer because it's light and it's really gentle on the skin, specifically if you want your active ingredients to work the best. Vitamin C and hyaluronic acid is probably the most beginner-friendly of active ingredients that you can find in skincare because they are in just about everything. When applying vitamin C and hyaluronic acid, you want to start with, like I said previously, a good gentle cleanser. You usually don't want anything with enzymes because they can be an exfoliant and you don't want to. I usually don't exfoliate if I'm going to use um, serum, my active ingredients in serum form. I save that for my active moisturizers with active ingredients. For serums specifically, I will gentle cleanse and then you're going to apply your serums 2 to 3 drops, pumps. Seems to be pretty good for the entire face. I like to let it absorb fully, let it dry before I apply my moisturizer and my sunscreen. Um, just because you want to layer your consistencies thinnest to thickest to make sure everything locks down. It's not like recommended that you apply them in the morning or at night. They work great for both. Vitamin C and hyaluronic acid do really well to lock in moisture and keep you from drying out. I live in a desert, so this is super important. Next is probiotics. I know a lot of people take them, but they do come also in a serum or facial mist form. With applying probiotics, they tend to play very nicely with hyaluronic acid as a good way to just have a very moisturizing skincare routine. Again, best to start with a gentle cleanser, toner, and then apply your probiotic serums, usually before your heavier or thicker moisturizers. It's best to pat or press it in instead of just rubbing it in like I would a regular serum. I know that on their website they recommend just using it in the evening and then increasing frequency. I use this when I remember to use it. I feel like that's just what we all do, regardless of brand suggestion. But I do like this facial mist. It's very hydrating. I do like a nice skin. But I do apply all over my face. I pat it down, I let it dry, and then I apply my other moisturizers. Usually with probiotics, you want to use a really light moisturizer just because you don't want to over scrub and destroy the healthy bacteria that probiotics usually tend to add. EDRN, the scariest skincare ingredient to date. This is the Equalberry rice PDRN. It's vegan, obviously. PDRN can be great for helping to calm down skin inflammation and skin irritation, but it's important to know how you should be using it. We're gonna again start with our gentle cleansers, our toners. PDRN tends to be thick and milky. Lord. So you want to apply this towards the end of your skincare routine. Usually this is going to be the last thing you apply with your others after your other serums, but before your creams. PDRN tends to work really nicely along ceramide, hyaluronic acid, and niacinamide. Layering these correctly can honestly create the best barrier protection hydration routine. Usually you don't want to immediately mix this with retinols or harsh exfoliants like AHAs and BHAs, really just to prevent irritation. I find it best to just keep with a ceramide moisturizer for things like this, just to keep it really nice, really light, so that none of the ingredients irritate each other. You don't want to make them mad. It's everybody's favorite. Can be really good for acne, for more mature skin. Really, whatever you use it for, it is really easy to screw up your entire skincare routine if you aren't careful with how you use retinol. Retinol is a great ingredient. Usually, you want to start with 1 to 2 times a week and then slowly, gradually increase to about every other night if your skin can tolerate it. It is a very high active ingredient. For sensitive skin specifically, you want to apply a very thin, light layer of moisturizer. Ceramide moisturizers are my go-to before the retinol to make sure you aren't increasing the risk of irritation and just only slightly decreasing the effectiveness because you're applying this on top of another cream product. When applying your retinol, you want to avoid really sensitive areas like under your eyes or on your nose or on your mouth. You don't want it to just dry these areas out because they can get very scaly. They can get really irritated really quickly. I remember making that mistake once. I had a cluster of pimples around the corners of my mouth. It was awful. So you want to be very careful with retinol. It is a super strong active ingredient and can be great if you keep it with lighter ingredients like vitamin C or niacinamide in very low concentrations. And even PDRN, again, in very low concentrations. You don't want to mix it with really high active ingredients like salicylic acid, benzyl acid, in the same routine, just because it can cause very mild irritation or very severe irritation. salicylic acid and lactic acid should be used on their own. I will scream it from the rooftops. You are not doing yourself any favors if you mix your salicylic acid, your lactic acid, with things like retinol or with really high concentrations of niacinamide. They don't play nicely with others. They don't. If you're going to use lactic acid or salicylic acid, it needs to be the only thing that you're using for that day. A gentle cleanser, just that salicylic acid, lactic acid in whatever form, and then a ceramide moisturizer, ceramide toner with it if you're feeling extra spicy. But what you don't want to do is just apply all of these ingredients at once, especially with salicylic acid and lactic acid. Again, they don't play nicely with other ingredients. Use them on their own. Gentle cleanser, ceramide ceramide toner, lactic acid or salicylic acid, ceramide moisturizer. Just let that be the main active ingredient in your routine for that day, because it just doesn't work very well with other ingredients. It can cause severe irritation, dryness, peeling, redness. It's not smart to use it with other things. I didn't intend for this to become an angry rant about salicylic acid.